the reason why I'm going to show you this is that he really asked me to. At first he came and said that he needs a kind of a person who might use pencil for designing all of this, and he stuck to me somehow.
Yeah,
So that
you're
this is
no,
that's a bad accident that happened, and then he said that there is a plot in Tallinn where he likes to deal with these things, and then asked me to make a kind of a presentation for lots of foreigners around the table. Now I see there are no foreigners almost at all, so that this is all the same kind of a small bunch of people. But anyhow, I really did it for a seminar in Tartu, let's say a couple of years ago, as you see from the heading here, and then we tried to convince these urban planners, let's say, that there are different ways of handling things or seeing the case like here in Tallinn, so therefore what it is and what might happen. And this is, you recognize the things here, let's say, that we have. I've implemented some of Douglas's slides, let's say, and this information that we have used in school. So therefore, this is here, and it's quite broadly based on the common knowledge somehow. So therefore, if you have to choose somebody, this is me, not Douglas Gordon. So
what we should tell you is that we did a chapter, a concluding chapter, in a book called The Unfinished City.
All right.
Or City Unfinished, something like that.
I may have the book, right? Right, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
One is a
We did the fact, which was the vision for Tallinn.
Okay.
But okay, anyhow, this is how it starts, and now I had to translate because it was made for Tartu. This is spatial planning is managing changes, it says here. And this is about energy, and it starts with a kind of a picture where the changes or development areas might be here in Tallinn. So therefore, if we are going to deal with this small block there, so therefore this is it.
And all of these yellow areas are up for development because
they are more or less, let's say, they are the places where you can do something, let's say, or either regenerate or rechange or add something, let's say, or distract. So therefore they are completely empty, even there are maybe a couple of these places only. So therefore it's not like being empty places. And if we zoom in, let's say, we can have a picture of the central parts of the city, let's say, and here you can see that even there are quite a lot of this. In the old city you can recognize quite easily, and let's say this was something that we did together, let's say this part of the city, or even it even comes up to there, let's say this is the harbor area, and you can see how many of something we added to that existing part.
We also did this, but separately.
Yeah.
We did a
This is
combination.
your proposal. Okay.
No, this is I just implemented it here, so therefore just to show it that there are quite a lot of possibilities still in Tallinn. That if you look out of the window, you can see almost all these areas. So that we are sitting here. I don't know, somewhere, not on that spot, let's say, so therefore it's quite close. And here it's a kind of a map of Tallinn, let's say, showing there are some local sub-centers here, so therefore it's the picture of what might be considered. There is, in reality, Tallinn lacks a real center, so governors and architects of Tallinn have tried to really build up a real center in the very center, possibly maybe even between the old city and the sea, let's say, the real future kind of a center, let's say, for Tallinn. They even started in before the First World War. Elisava did a plan. This was a Russian, Tsarist Russia these days. So therefore, and Saarinen did a big Tallinn plan, let's say, that really was 1911 or 12 or whatever.
I have it, comes up.
That time.
No, yeah. So therefore,
Before the First World War.
this was really like a Paris or whatever, let's say, so quite a big city. Yeah.
And this plan is 2001. It's a land use city plan by Tallinn that has not been improved upon or renewed.
Yeah.
So that's underneath with the red dots on top. Okay, so it's a standard land use plan.
There is mobility and connectivity, so therefore this is what comes now, and all the new railroads. This is the kind of a rail system that does exist in Tallinn, and that is having a kind of new layer also. Here we can see, let's say, there's a dotted line. Light blue is or some kind of an addition to the existing light blue railroad system in Tallinn today. So therefore this is what maybe is a kind of an interest of these places, let's say, that you are.
This is based on the Rail Baltic coming from Helsinki.
Yeah. No, but a couple of days ago I just read an article that the Finnish economic minister, she said that it's never going to be fulfilled, so therefore they don't find money for any tunnel between Tallinn and Helsinki.
But they're only here for another 3 years, so you can ignore her.
No, I just tell you that the tram lines are really, I mean, I don't know if I
expanded upon.
Sorry, the train line that you propose to remove?
Sorry?
The train line that you propose to remove for the competition?
Which one?
Is the...
It's this one.
The blue, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is, today it does exist, let's say.
Yeah.
But what really happens to that railroad, this is, I do think that there are different options for it. So therefore one says that we should remove it, other says that we can still use it for, let's say, these kind of rail buses or whatever, let's say, that still goes somewhere. And because the space is existing, so therefore what to do with this, to build it up with housing or just to leave it there and then use it for another.
Okay, can I just add to that?
Yeah.
I naively thought the same in Helsinki when we did it 30 years ago. I thought we could use the existing rail structure, but the gauge, the width was of the wrong size. So no matter what was there, we had to take it all up and redo it. But I originally thought we could use, just like Andres is explaining here, highly unlikely, so it means we'll probably have to lose it, that section of it in reality.
But there are some color spots here also that might be noticed. This is where mainly the cultural activities are, the cultural spots, let's say. So therefore this is the old city with its vicinity. It's a green color, and there is another kind of a layer of something that is just under there. Different plateaus are rising up from the sea, let's say. This is the earth is constructed like this, and tuk 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 tuk. It's like stepping up all the time. And Lasnamäe is the highest point, let's say, with its lake that is on the highest plateau here, let's say, and the water might come down to the lower parts of the city one day. But okay, so this is it, and these are the yellow, dark yellow color shows that where the innovation might take place, where the universities or these places where this IT sector people are working. So therefore this is Ülemiste, it's next to the airport here, and this is Tallinn Technical University, Tech, and there are some more spots. So this is Tallinn City University. So therefore these are the places where we can say that kind of an innovation is taking place.
Is it worth to say some words about the tunnel on top of your comment?
What tunnel?
Helsinki tunnel.
Sure, Rail Baltica.
I have been suspicious of it all the time.
Okay.
Because it is a huge mega structure, and of course there is always the question of investment.
Yeah.
When I was in Umeå, there was a economics professor, Lars Westin, a very bright guy, and I was talking to him that, and he said, hang on a minute, north of Sweden is full of all kinds of stuff that needs to be transported into the center of Europe. And there are two areas where no more trains can go through, and one of them is Stockholm area, and the other is Copenhagen area. So actually you need another route to the Central Europe. Then he said, but think about it. The land is coming out of the sea 1 centimeter per year. There in Umeå area. And it is very difficult very soon to go through it by ferries. So it becomes highly feasible to build a bridge there. And then it became really interesting for me that if you can build a bridge there and a tunnel here, it will open up a totally different route. Then I remembered Douglas Gordon, who was talking about South Stream, going through all these new capitals that after the end of Cold War.
I did an EU project.
Mm-hmm.
And then it started to make sense. Could you say also a word or two about that South Stream?
Yeah, we created what's called a north-south interface. For all the capitals, what we call secondary capitals, because you've got the central area, London, Paris, Milan, right? And the secondary capitals are from Stockholm, Helsinki, Tallinn, through Latvia, Lithuania, Warsaw, all the way down to Athens. It's almost a straight line via Sofia and Bucharest and places like that. Anyway, and we would connect them up, those secondary capitals, because I don't know if you know the theory, that our theory was that 2/3 of GDP is created within the
Pentagon, yeah.
The area in London, Paris, Milan, right? And 2/3. So in order to create greater equality, you need to then develop the secondary locations, and the north-south interface axis would, and therefore we come up with a high-speed train, St. Petersburg, Helsinki, Tallinn, then all the way down to Athens. And we got virtually all the major cities involved, and everybody was highly excited. We could do Tallinn to Berlin in under 4 hours, probably 3.5 hours. Tallinn to Berlin. So 4 hours from Helsinki to Berlin. If you're doing 250 kilometers an hour, you'll have to go a bit slower.
It's still more, I think.
No, it's feasible. I mean, the TGV, Paris, Marseille is over 320 kilometers an hour.
No,
And I've been on it.
So concluding,
Yeah.
It's not in a very close future, but there certainly are some circumstances that make it worth considering.
Yes.
No, yeah.
And the master plan for the area where the broken hatched line starts, they've already, for that community, inserted the Helsinki-Tallinn tunnel to come out there. So it's already a possibility legally.
Reserving a piece of land, let's say, or
Okay.
for the future. Pops out, so therefore you have to.
May
have
take
another.
70 years or 100 years.
Yeah.
But okay,
Carry
it's Network City. This is something you can read yourself, let's say, and this is what I have borrowed from you, Douglas.
That's okay.
And this is Network City of international dimension, so therefore you can see the illustration of the previous talk. So,
So this is what we produced.
yeah. This is now some kind of a center. Is it a dot, or is it a line, or is it a network? So
Or is it punk, Johnny Rotten, Sex Pistols?
Yes.
Right.
Punk. I know that slight differences, like with the structures always, let's say, if you change one molecule you get the poison, not the milk. So
H2O becomes H2SO4.
these are some pictures, let's say, what might happen to Tallinn, and there are
Very good.
a couple of main roads, let's say, one is coming in from the side, southern side of, or even south side of Estonia, let's say, from the second largest city, Tartu, let's say, and this is one of the highways, and it's really, if you move on that, you see that this is not a properly built up kind of a cityscape, let's say. So therefore,
But that's the railroad going to Copley, yeah?
yes, this is going to Copley, yes.
Fantastic.
And there is another that comes from Pärnu. This is southern side of Estonia. It's coming. It might go further on towards Berlin and these places, let's say.
Yes.
So therefore, this shows that there are quite a lot of places where you can really redevelop and be active like an architect, and this is a kind of a networking city picture. This is what happens if other work habits are changing. And now we are jumping out of Tallinn a little bit, and here we can see the actual administrative border of Tallinn. Let's say this is the central part, and the settlements around Tallinn are quite visible here, marked with yellow color, and this is a theme that the students have been dealing last semester. Yeah, this is the railroad up towards Paldiski. That was one of the first places where the rail system was integrated to Estonia, let's say in 1870s or something. Yes, it's quite old one already. And the Paldiski was a military port. Maybe it wasn't too big still, but the benefits of Paldiski was that this was ice-free, because the water was very deep, so therefore this is, and Tallinn was just on the way from St. Petersburg to Paldiski, so therefore, and they turned in, and it's a city here, it's quite nice.
Socialist Republic of Estonia. Is that right?
Sorry,
Socialist Republic of Estonia.
It wasn't yet. It was Tsarist.
Tsarist.
And these settlements, so is this a commuting pattern, like they are quite dependent from Tallinn, or they are more or less independent or autonomous?
No,
Small cities
this all still works. Let's say these people living there mostly try to merge to Tallinn for let's say for working days. So therefore, this is what's happening. So
The
therefore,
theory is city region.
Yeah.
The city becomes a city region.
and here you can
Here
see
we are.
that from it, the greater Tallinn and new city region. So therefore, you see the main highways here, and they are of course crawling towards the central parts of the city, and then it's a kind of a ring system might be generated around Tallinn. And even if you follow the county lines, let's say, you can see that Tallinn is really, and I'm today living here in this Viimsi Peninsula. Let's say this is a separate county, of course, but now it might be, it's more or less a part of Tallinn, so therefore there are no big border between this, because even my grandchildren, I even help my son to move them to the central parts of the school, so therefore it's all the communication is just between these places, so therefore it's not a separate kind of a...
This is the county, the red.
Yes.
So there are different ones. This is Viimsi, this is Maardu, by the way, this is Raevald, and so there are different little pieces, and so they might be integrated together. And where it stops, it's not a quite a clear question, so therefore it might just pour over. And there is another picture that shows that if you, there are problems, let's say, if you think about the communication between some places, let's say these peninsulas are somehow cut off, because it's the connection between, even here inside of Tallinn, let's say this peninsula Kopli is as you see, let's say there are on two sides there are seas, so therefore the connection line, there are few of them only. One is railroad that we are going to cut away now, so therefore you have to think. and the Viimsi again has only one proper connection by a highway, so therefore it's really fully congested in morning time, let's say, and afternoon, so therefore it's a rush hour there. So sometimes it's usually took me 12 or 13 minutes in Soviet time to run with my Zhiguli type of car, let's say a Lada, from my home, let's say, to the central parts of the city. Now it takes 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's also the case with this other peninsula, Kakumäe, and
Absolutely,
and whatever it is called, this one there. So you can't really get into the city. Only one road coming into the city.
So therefore,
Disk.
there are these bad points also. And now this is in Estonia, the question is, if we densify Tallinn, how far we should go, let's say, where it might stop, and what shall be done here. And here is a picture that shows that there are these main roads, let's say, coming out of Tallinn, so therefore there are the paces already taking place, in the sense that it's really some development takes place on these light blue ovals. So therefore, and this yellow part shows that where the people like to crawl to have their small cottages or houses or residents, let's say, crawl to these places, because it's turned to west sunset boulevards, let's say. So therefore, and they like these places, but what happens on these places, they are still quite different, let's say. The rail system is helping it here, there, and probably on that line also. So
but
therefore
there's also a lot of those arrows, as you call them, have rail lines. So it's a combination of rail and road for most of them.
So this is what might happen if you were trying to study surrounding around Tallinn and what might happen.
And if you go back to the previous one, we also created this transversal from east to west, like that, you see, linking them all up. Right.
And they are developing development corridors, urban boulevards, and they are going to merge together life and
Death.
work. So this is what it says
Life and
now.
death
Yeah.
of Tallinn, yeah.
So and these are the possibilities for the urban boulevards here. So
Yeah.
therefore this is what might happen. They are actually not like boulevards today, so therefore they are far from this.
No,
But
but they're all based on the new tram lines and rail.
just a couple of pictures, let's say,
Excellent.
what might it
Yeah.
look like. This is next to the, let's say, if you look out of the window, you might see it here almost.
There we are. Very nice.
And now this is a speculation where we find the best residential or living places here in Tallinn, so therefore...
Green Tallinn.
Yeah, green Tallinn. Landscape of Tallinn. It just tells you a story. Let's say this is upper hill here and around the water. It's you can see where, and it shows you the residential areas or dwelling houses. Let's say these are the regions. There are some differences, of course, between these spots
That's
and
where
places.
Andres lives.
Who?
That's where you live.
Yes, this is my own, yes, okay.
It's not. It's a joke.
And
It's not a joking place.
Sorry. Yes, it is.
and the question is here, is the social cohesion, does it exist here or not? So therefore there are these older places, let's say these green spots mean that maybe you shouldn't touch them, not too much, let's say, and these purple ones are the places where we can really redevelop it. So therefore
For
it's,
mainly housing and also workplaces.
these are the green networking. Here we can
Green
see,
network.
yeah, what does
It's quite a
exist.
lot, actually.
Sorry,
It's quite a lot.
it's quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tallinn is you see, it's so congested anyhow to the center, so therefore all the forests or greener bushes are surrounding it, so therefore it's not very...
And the dashed line are
This
future
means that
connections or-
might be developed further on,
Yeah.
let's say. This something
Potential, so-
does exist in a smaller or milder way, and then you have to think about maybe you can transit it to something.
Tram line.
Yeah, yeah, there are some
I like
pictures
it.
from, yeah.
This is for the harbour area.
Yeah.
This is part of the harbour area that
Oh, yeah.
Andres designed.
No,
I
we
like
did it still together,
like it,
I should
yeah.
say. Let's say this was a park coming from the Admiralty Basin up to the seashore
A
side.
new park in the city centre.
Totally new,
An
but this
urban
was
park.
rejected by the jury of the competitions. They said that this is
Too
100 meters wide and this is too much, let's say. We need a more congestion, so this is a park, let's say. We have
Urban
hedgehogs here and rabbits, so we can't leave them aside.
And old professors.